guys, welcome to or back to my channel. So for today's video we are going to be talking all about books because like I said, I love reading, and of course I want to go ahead and mix that with the lifestyle beauty / fashion content that I want to do. That being said, I'm going to be showing you guys a collective haul of books that I have been collecting since probably April of last year, and I have a pretty big stack right next to me. I think I have collected about 30-ish books. So yeah, let me go ahead and show you guys what I have got because I am so excited to read all of these. And let me just say, reading and buying books are two separate things. I know it's bad, and I'm sorry. Let me know if you guys have read any of these. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first book I have here is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, and I believe this is a part of the Stormlight Archive series. And oh my god, this book is thick, like huge. It's like a brick. But I love that it's so floppy. And I don't think I have read a book this big since Harry Potter, but nonetheless, I am very excited to read this one. And it is a high fantasy book, and I have heard nothing but good things about it. I think the main character's name is Kaladin, and honestly, I read the synopsis and it was very like confusing, but intriguing at the same time, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of excited to just go into this one blind. But yeah, this is the first book that I got. I'm gonna just stack them down here because, yeah, you hear that? Brick. So the next book I have here is also by Brandon Sanderson, and also a book that I don't know much about. You'll see a theme here. That's okay. I will read them no matter what. So we have The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, and this is part of the Mistborn trilogy, I believe. Yes, trilogy. Like I said, I do not know much about this one, but I have heard nothing but good things about this one as well. And I know this is a high fantasy, I want to say. But yeah, nonetheless, I'm excited about reading it. I have not read that much high fantasy, but I've heard a lot of good things about him, so I'm excited. Okay, so the next two books that I have right here are also by the same author, which is Carissa Broadbent. And the first one is The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and I believe this is part of a trilogy or individual like duologies. Not 100% sure about that, but I know this one is a fantasy romance, and I love fantasy romance books. That is my favorite genre, like, of all time. But yeah, this book was pretty popular a few months ago. Like, I seen it all over TikTok and I seen it all over YouTube, so it just got me really intrigued. And when I read the synopsis, I'm just like, yeah, give it to me. So this one is about Araya, who was adopted by a vampire, and she goes into like this other world, or like the vampire world, I guess, I'm assuming. And she enters this tournament called the Kajari. So it's kind of like Hunger Games-esque. And I think helping her win this tournament will help her survive in the world that she's in, since she's a human and she's surrounded by vampires. And then we have our male main character. His name is Rain, and I think that is a love interest as well. And it's your typical brooding enemies to lover plot, and I eat that up. I love it so much. And the next one that we have is Daughter of No Worlds, and I started reading this one back a few weeks ago, but I had put it down because I was preoccupied with school, but that's besides the point. So this one is also a fantasy romance book, and it also, I believe, is an enemies to lovers plot, which again, I love so much, especially in fantasy romance books. And again, I heard nothing but good things about this book and Carissa Broadbent's writing, so I'm very excited about this one as well. But for this one, we follow Tasana, who I believe was an orphan and then was enslaved. From what I heard about this is that she gets an apprenticeship with the male main character, which his name is Max. And again, he's like a brooding, grumpy character, like any enemies to lovers plot, but I am very excited to read this one also. Okay. So the next book that we have here is such a cute one. I love it so much. I love this series, and it is Heartstopper Volume 5. If you guys didn't see, in my last video I was reading Heartstopper Volume 4, and I absolutely loved it. I literally teared up, basically crying. I can't even talk about it. Like, it was such a good story, and I just love it so much. I love the characters. I love the representation that it has. Like, I just love everything about it. Like, it warms my heart, and I just love reading it. I don't know. I just really love this series, and I believe this is the second to last one. Yes, second to last one. This originally was supposed to be the last, but then we got another one, and I am so excited. This one just picks up from the events that happened in Volume 4. I don't want to say much because it will be a spoiler, but if you have not heard about Heartstopper, first of all, where have you been? Like, this is such a well-known graphic novel, and I feel like everyone should read it. But basically what this is about is it's about two boys, Nick and Charlie, and they end up getting together, and you are just reading about their life and how they're navigating on Charlie already being out and Nick trying to figure out his sexual identity, I guess. It's much more than that. I feel like I am not doing it justice by explaining it right, but please, please, please go ahead and pick this this series up. You guys will not regret it. It's so amazing. And just the representation, all the things that it talks about, like, I just love it. And it's done, in my opinion, in a good way. But yeah, it's Heartstopper Volume 5. And I just love the graphics. It's like, they're always so cute. Alrighty, so the next book I have here is Left Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood, and I believe this is also part of the interconnected standalones of her STEM series. So I think the other ones are The Love Hypothesis, which I also have not read yet, but I am definitely going to be reading it this year. And then there is a few other ones, but I have not gotten those. Yeah, this follows a theoretical physicist and an experimental physicist. And this is, obviously you know, a romance book. I don't know too much about it, but from what I get from the back is that we have our female main character, Elsie Hanaway, and our main male character is Jack Smith. Like I said, she is the theoretical physicist and he is the experimental physicist. And I believe that they have like a tiff because both, I guess, fields probably have some competition. I'm not 100% sure. If I sound dumb, I am so sorry. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. I believe she is struggling financially, and I believe she's a fake girlfriend to Jack's siblings. So I think that's how they meet each other, and he ends up becoming her mentor. But yeah, it says right here that Jack Smith is the annoyingly attractive and arrogant older brother to her client. Turns out to be the cold-hearted experimental physicist who ruined her mentor's career and undermined the reputation of theorists everywhere. And he's the same Jack Smith who rules over the physics department at MIT, standing right between Elsie and her dream job. So that sounds really interesting. As we know, I feel like it's an enemies to lovers romance plot, and like I said, I really love those, so I'm very excited to get into this one. Okay, so the next book I have here is A Curious Beginning by Deanna Raybourn, and I have heard really good things about this, and I believe this is a historical mystery book, and I have heard this book from TikTok and from a girl that I follow here on YouTube. Her name is Katie is Reading, and she really loves this book. So this follows Veronica Speedwell, and we have Stoker, and I believe that they are just trying to figure out a murder that happens in this book. And I believe this is also part of a series. I want to say it's over like 5 books, which is kind of a lot, but I am really intrigued, especially since it's a mystery. And I believe it has like a little sprinkle of romance. I could be 100% wrong. Don't quote me on that. Okay, so the next book I have here is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater, and I believe this one is a historical / Regency type of book, and it takes place in England. And basically what this book is about Dora, who was cursed by a fairy and took half her soul, which that leaves her to not feel her emotions completely. So it takes off, then we enter the story where she is entering the like season where people find a husband, and so she meets this man named Elias Wilder, who is a handsome, peculiar, and utterly ill-mannered lord. So yeah, it just goes from there, and I feel like she finds herself attracted to this person. But yeah, that's basically what I got from the back. But nonetheless, I am very excited to read this one as well. Okay, so moving along with the stack, the next book I have here is Flawless by Elsie Silver, and I am so excited about this book. I am honestly quite sad that I have the old covers because I think they're republishing the new ones, and I really don't feel like buying all of them right now. I haven't even read the first one, but kind of sucks that I'm gonna have different books. I don't really mind it, I just won't put them together. But from what I heard about this, this is like a horse girl romance, which is kind of funny to say. And it is part of the Chestnut Spring series, and it has cowboys and all that jazz, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. Literally everyone has read this on booktube, on TikTok, everyone, and they have said nothing but good things about it, so I am very excited to get into this one as well. Moving along, we have The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and from what I have gathered from this one, this is basically like a mixture of Criminal Minds but make it like young adult, and that is very intriguing to me because I love Criminal Minds. Like, that is my favorite show. Spencer, he is my favorite character. But for this one, we follow young teenagers who are gifted, and they are brought into the FBI to, I guess, solve some cases, which sounds really good. And what I like about her writing, from what I could tell, is that the chapters are very short, and I love short chapters. I absolutely hate long chapters. So this, along with being a mystery book, will definitely make me read it faster. The next book I have here is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. This is also a romance book, and I believe this is also part of the Part of Your World interconnected standalone books. And I also heard that this one has anxiety rep, which again, I really love when books like talk about mental illness. I am very intrigued to see how they present this. But we have Brianna, who is a ER doctor, and then we have Jacob, who is also a doctor, and I believe he is the one that experiences anxiety. And I guess we follow their story of how they fall in love and just all that jazz. But yeah, I am very excited about this one as well. Okay, so the next book I have is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. But this is a literary fiction book, and the cover, The cover is so cool to me. I really love this cover. But yeah, this is a story of a girl who basically has it all. She is a Columbia graduate, she is rich, she lives in the city, but she is still sad. So we follow her as she is heavily medicated and she decides to basically sleep for a year. And I want to say we basically follow her delusions or her dreams, but the plot of this is very interesting and I just think like it's a cool, really cool concept, and I just feel like it's going to be interesting like diving into her head and to see what she thinks. Okay, so the next book I have here is Before the Coffee Gets Cold, but this is a collection of short stories where people go to a cafe and they get to relive some parts of their life, but they have to come back before their coffee gets cold. And I have heard nothing but cool things about it, and it's a pretty short book. But yeah, I can't wait to read this one. I feel like I've seen some people cry at this book. Not 100% sure, but yeah, I feel like this could be like a fast read. I feel like I am so like, I don't know, I feel awkward sometimes. Like I said, I'm still getting used to the camera and talking to myself, which technically I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to you guys, but you know what I mean. Okay, so up next we have Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. Can we talk about this cover? This cover is so cool. I don't know how the inside looks. I think, oh, the inside is pretty plain Jane, but the outside is really cool. But anyways, this is a young adult fantasy and it's about a girl who is the goddaughter of Death and Fortune and who is also a thief and a maid to a princess. But I am very excited to get to this one as well. Sorry if the lighting looks a little bit different or if the angle looks different. I had to go and charge my camera really quickly, so we're back. So moving on, the next book that I have right here is The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa, and this is a rom-com and I love rom-coms, so I feel like this one's gonna also be an easy read and I'm very excited about it. So for this one we follow a wedding planner and she gets left at the altar, so then she teams up with Max, who is her ex-fiance's best man, and I think they just go off from there, and I think it's also enemies to lovers. But yeah, I plan to read this book very soon. I am actually going to be reading it this month because I am going to be doing a romance themed reading vlog, so I will be reading this next. Alrighty, next up we have Legend Born by Tracy Dion, and this cover is so cool. Like I just love hardcovers that just have like cool detailing. Like that's pretty cool. And I have heard nothing but good things about this book. I don't know too much about it and I kind of don't mind going into it blind, but what I do know is that it's inspired by Arthurian legend, if I am correct. But yeah, I think it just follows a girl after her mother dies, and that's as much as I know about it, but all the things that I have seen have been nothing but good, so I am very, very excited to get to this one. So the next book I have right here is Bowel by R.F. Kuang, and again, I have heard nothing but good things about this book, but I am slightly intimidated by it. I don't know why, I just think it's the size, and I feel like that's why I haven't read it, but hopefully I get to it soon. But I believe this one is a historical fiction with fantasy elements because I do believe it has like a magic system, and it also is dark academia, which I absolutely love. But in this book we follow Robin Swift, who is a Chinese boy raised in Britain. Then he goes to Oxford to study translation, and this is honestly all I know. But yeah, I have also heard that this book is gut-wrenching and painful, and I feel like that's why also I am intimidated, but nonetheless I am intrigued to read this. So the next book that I have here is also yet another fantasy because I love fantasy. That's like my go-to genre, and if it has romance in it, I love it. Like a good old romantasy, my favorite. I will eat it up. But we have The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni, and I want to say it is a romantasy, and if it's not, I just sound so dumb. But anyways, this is young adult, and we follow 17-year-old Kiva, who has been stuck in a prison for 10 years, I believe, working as a prison healer. And a rebel queen is captured, and she has to basically keep this queen alive. So she then volunteers herself to go to these trials, and basically no one has survived, so she has to find a way to survive. And then we have our male main character, which the back doesn't say his name, but it sounds very intriguing, and I feel like I haven't read a book like this in a while, and I've heard a lot of people talk about this book. Sarah Caroli, for one, she said she read it and she really enjoyed it, so I am very excited to read it. Okay, up next we have 3 books by the same author, and they are all romance books. So we have The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams, Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams, and When in Rome by Sarah Adams, and I believe these 2 are interconnected standalones, and this one is a sports romance, and I am very excited to read all of these. I think I want to read this one first because I love a good sports romance. The last sports romance that I read was The Goal, but if I didn't say what these were, this is about Nate and Bree, and I believe this one is a fake dating trope. When in Rome is about I want to say she is a popular singer, and she ends up getting stuck in this town, and this guy, I think he doesn't really really like her, but I guess they end up getting along, and then there were love bruised from that. And then this one, I think I might be wrong. Is it a bodyguard romance? Yes, he is a bodyguard. I knew it. But yeah, this one sounds really cool. Alrighty, moving along. We are almost done with my stack, but the next book that I have is A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed, and this cover looks so cool. I absolutely love it. It just looks so intriguing. It just has like a very gothic dark academia vibe, and I absolutely love that. And I believe that it is dark academia and it does have some gothic themes, I think. But I also heard that it's like a cozy read. But we follow Effie, who is an architectural student, and she goes to college, and then I believe one of her favorite authors passes away and she has to like redo his home. I'm not 100% sure if that's what it's about. That's what I've gathered from the back and from what I've heard from other people. But I have been hearing mixed reviews about this book, so that kind of sucks, but I just want to go ahead and read it and form my own opinion. But yeah, so next up we have Bunny by Mona Awad, and I believe this is also a dark academia book, and it follows girls that call each other Bunny, I think. I feel like it's like some kind of like a secret society. I could be wrong, but I honestly don't know too much about it, and I want to keep it that way because a lot of people said that you should go into this one blind. So that is what I plan to do, and I hope to get to it this year. Okay, next up I have two books that are part of the same world, I think, and I am so excited to read these books. I really want to get into them very soon. I think I want to finish the other series that I am in the middle of and then get to these because I want to like binge them straight. But the first one is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, and I honestly don't know much about this one because people say that I should read the Caraval series first by Stephanie Garber. So I know that this one involves magic of some sort. I've heard nothing but good things about both of these. I've heard that this one is better than this one, but I can't wait to see what I think about when I read these series. And I think I want to go ahead and do like a little reading vlog reading both of the series. Let me know what you guys think about that. I feel like that would be really fun, and then I could also include like making a cute little journal spread. I feel like that could be so much fun. Okay, so we are almost done. We have 5 more books to go, but I am seeing the stack right next to me, and oh my god, I have a problem. Anyways, the next book we have is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher, and I know that this is part of the Dreamland Billionaire series, and we follow our main characters Rowan and Sahara. And Rowan basically owns Dreamland, which is Disneyland, and he hires her to redecorate, and I feel like she has like a lot of opinions and a lot of things she wants to change, and I feel like he's not 100% up to that. But yeah, this is about billionaires, workplace romance. I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I can't wait to read this one as well. But I also have another book from her, and I bought it recently too. I don't know why I didn't include it, but it's Love Redesign by Lauren Asher as well. And I really don't know a lot about this one, but the freaking line, the opening little blurb that she has, I was literally shocked. My jaw was on the floor. If you guys like spice, go ahead and pick this one up because I am sure this book is going to be filled with spice, and I'm very excited to get to this one. But it's a chunky book too, but that line alone made me want to like pick it up ASAP. Okay, up next I have Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert, and I am currently reading this one. I am only 16 pages in, but this is also part of the little romance reading vlog that I am doing, and we follow our 2 characters named Bradley, who plays football, and Celine, who is obsessed with conspiracy theories. But I do know that this book also has OCD rep, and it talks about parental abandonment, and I really like how Talia Hibbert introduced this in her author's note. It was really nice. But yeah, when I read that, I was just like, wow, like I just feel like this is going to be a good story. Anyways, we are down to the last 2 books. These are the ones that I have out that are not in packages, and to no surprise, they are fantasy books. But we have A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross, and I believe she also wrote another popular book that is going around right now. I do have that one as well, but I have not read it yet. This is, like I said, a fantasy book, and we follow our main characters Jack and Adaria. I believe that's how you say her name. I'm not 100% sure, but they are childhood enemies, and I believe Jack was away for 10 years to study music, which that is really cool, but he comes back home to Cadence when girls start missing. And I believe it also has romance elements, and they have to work together to solve whatever's going on back in their home. Okay, the last book that I have, I need to go grab it. It's in a package. Give me 1 second. I saw this book all over TikTok. It was like the new romantasy book, and I was just like, ooh, that sounds really interesting. Give it to me now. So I had ordered it. I don't think it's traditionally published yet because it is mostly on Kindle Unlimited, which I did get on Kindle Unlimited, but I like to read my romance fantasies in a physical book. But let's go ahead and open it. I'm so excited because honestly this package is huge for this book. Okay, this is a very chunky book. Oh my god. It literally feels like a brick. We have When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker, and the cover is so cool. It has dragons on it. I don't know much about this, but I know that it has romance elements and it involves dragons, I'm assuming, because there's dragons on the cover. But everyone that has been reading this on TikTok has said nothing but good things about it, so I'm just like, okay, I definitely need to read that because I'm excited to see what I think about this one. But yeah, that concludes all the books that I have gotten since April of last year. Let me go ahead and count them to see how many I have. And I have 31 books. I have a problem, but to my defense, it's been since April. It has been 9 months to collect 30 books, so I guess it's pretty good. I in no way would have bought these all in one go. My wallet would absolutely hate me. Dude, this literally looks like I have a problem, because I literally do. I probably have only read like none of these. Yeah, I definitely need to go on a book buying ban and try to read a decent amount of these, because not reading any of these is a crime. Like, how am I just gonna keep buying books and not read them? But again, in my defense, reading and buying books are two separate hobbies, which I love doing. So alrighty, that is it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I had so much fun sharing all the books that I got with you guys. If any of you have read any of these books that I mentioned, please let me know down below what your guys' thoughts on them were, because I would love to know. I will also definitely be doing some cute little reading vlogs on some of these books, since I do want to incorporate reading into this channel. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Anyway, please like and subscribe if you want, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!